Alright, so this is that black affinity strat I was talking about. Right now I'm trying to remove the bridge. I'm keeping the strings on because they're new strings, so I don't want to replace the strings again. But I'm taking the bridge off so I can take the neck off, and we'll get started on the painting process. This is that pick guard I was talking about. It's got that Hot Rails pickup. It's tortoiseshell. I think that'll look really cool with the white body. So, yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Okay, so as I'm opening this up, I noticed a couple things, and I think the previous owner before me did some upgrade, because these screws aren't, the typical screws you get with a squier. Those ones usually strip out a ton, but these look like they were bought at a hardware store. So that's the first thing I noticed. Then I take the pick guard off. We got these nice full-size pots here, and those do not look like stock squier pickups. Those look like they've been upgraded. So no wonder they sound so good. Heck yeah. I am very pleased with this guitar. Doesn't look like they upgraded the switch at all, but that's okay. But yeah, like I said, I'll keep you guys posted. Alright, so here's a quick little tip for you guys. If you get one of these pick guards online and it doesn't have recessed holes like this, and you don't have a recessing bit, you can do it with just a normal screwdriver bit. So what you do is just kind of make sure it's in there nice and straight, and just go for it. Kind of wiggle it around a little bit. And then your screw should sit nice and flush. I gotta do a little bit of adjustment to that, but yeah, that's the general idea. And then you just kind of keep messing with it until your screw fits really well. So, yeah, quick little tip for you guys. Okay, so I got this pick guard all wired up. Everything's all, I haven't soldered the bridge pickup in yet, but I'll do that later. But yeah, everything's all hooked up to the pick guard. Get these volume knobs on. Match those up with the screws. That's kind of what I like to do, at least. There we go. I like these knobs. I didn't like them at first, but I think they look really good, especially on this pick guard. There we go. And then the holes don't line up, but that's usually pretty common if you're putting one of these pick guards on a squier. It's not the end of the world. I'll just drill new holes. But yeah, I think this looks amazing on a black guitar, but I'm going to paint it white still. So I guess that's the next step. I'll take the neck off and I'll be right back. Alright, so one thing that's good to do before I get started with the sanding or anything like that is to mask off all these cavities. It'll keep the mess down, and it's also good not to get too much paint in there. Especially on the neck, because you don't want it to change the angle that the neck sits. You also don't want it to build up too much and have the neck be too high, because that can mess with your playability and all that stuff. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm actually going to leave this, though, because I like to have my back plate off, and I'd like to have that the same color. So all this is going to be white in here, but pickup cavities, the neck pocket, these little cavities are all going to be masked off, so that's what I'm going to do now. Alright, I got it all masked up, and now all that's left to do before I start painting is take off the strap locks, first of all, and then sand it down with some 400 grit just to get it nice and rough for the paint to stick. So I think I will be back once I'm getting started painting. So another quick tip is that if you got like little dings like this, you can fill them with super glue, and then you just wait till the glue hardens, then you sand it flush. And in this case, this is perfect because I'm going to be repainting this, so you won't even know that anything's there. Alright, so I'm out here on this little thing that I made. It's just a stand covered in masking paper. So there's these dings right here. I filled them with super glue, nice and flush. And now it's time to start spraying. So the spray I'm using is this Rust-Oleum heirloom white, excuse me. It's kind of an off-white color. Kind of see how it looks. Yeah, pretty cool looking. So what I'm gonna do is, and you can kind of see, it's super dull from sanding. That's exactly what you want. So I'm gonna do the sides. And rotate that. Doing a real light coating because this is just the first coat. Just kind of dust it on there. Spin it around a little bit more. Alright, so now the sides are done, so I'm just going to do the top. Just real light dust right over the top. And I don't really care that it's not covering all the way because this is just the first coat. It's supposed to be super light. Got a little bit over there. Got a little drip spot right there, but that's okay. I can just sand that out. But I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible. Alright, so I think that's good for the first coat. Gonna let that dry and then I'll be back to do some more coats, and I'll probably do all that off camera and just show you what the finished product looks like. Alright, there's a more even coat. That's more what the finished product is gonna look like. Just imagine that with a tortoiseshell pickguard, and heck yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful guitar. So of course I need to put several more coats on, and then I'm gonna put a what was it? I think it was a Rust-Oleum clear lacquer, a gloss. So yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll show you guys how it looks. Alright, so I got my first coat of lacquer on the sides and on the top, and I'm using this stuff. It's a gloss finish. So basically, my technique is I hold about this far away from the sides, and then 6 passes, relatively fast. I flip the guitar around, then do that side, then the back side, and then those horns. And then for the top, I'm holding about that far. I go probably about that fast. Make sure I overlap by about 50%. I just kind of eyeball it, so it's not perfect, but it's alright. And then I do that on the guitar 2 times. So I go up here and go back. So that's my clear coating process. I might refine it if I need to, but for now that's what I've been doing. So I've been working on these electronics for the past like 3 hours. I finally got it to coil split. I feel pretty stupid, but the issue was that this wire right here was touching the screw, and it was making it so I couldn't coil split. And I was like trying for hours to try and fix it. I tried to ground everything. You see all those globs of solder on the pots? I was trying to ground those all together with a guitar string. I ended up just ripping that out, and once I figured out what the issue was, because it was getting in the way of the switch anyway. So it all works. I'll show you guys right now. It's in single coil mode. Right, switched up. If I switch it down, it goes all quiet, and it's in humbucker mode. Switch it up. You'll still hear noise on this bottom one, but this top one's way louder. Alright, so I will admit it that I messed up. So I put the clear coat on way too thick, and ended up getting some huge fingerprints because I thought it was dry, but it really wasn't. So I had to sand all the fingerprints off and then do some touch-up paint, and now I'm kind of back to square one. I'm putting on my second coat of clear coat, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 passes instead of 6, kind of 1, 2, 3 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll see how that goes. So far it's looking pretty good. So yeah. Alright, so I've done a little bit of touch-up work. There was some paint scratched off here, so I painted over it. It's got some clear coat drying now. I also sanded off some fingerprints over here and then painted over, and then it's got some lacquer on it as well. So that's drying. So the biggest mistake I've made with this guitar is being way too impatient, because it is going to be my guitar. I'm not making this for anyone. It's mine, and I'm just excited to get playing, so I've been impatient with it. It's resulted in like fingerprints like that I've had to sand off and touch over. It took way longer than it would if I would just be patient. So, lesson learned. Of course, if this was a customer's guitar, I wouldn't be impatient with it. I'd give it as much time as it needed, probably more time than it would need. just to make sure that lacquer's all hardened, but that's what happens when you're making a guitar for yourself and you're really excited. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. It's almost done though. Alright, so I decided to work on the front while these horns were drying, just being extra careful not to, do anything over here, but let's see. And it's not like the top, it's more the insides right here, where it's still a little bit soft. But I think the top's ready for buffing, so I'm going to kind of carefully do that. I don't have my drill attachment because I don't know what happened to it. But what I'm going to do is use this polishing compound, turtle wax, polish light to medium cleaner, and I'm going to rub that on with a microfiber towel, and I'm just going to kind of do it by hand. And especially being careful, I think this is the best option right now. So I'm going to try that out. I got this sanded. I started with 800 and wet sanded it up to 1500. So yeah, let's buff it out and see how it looks. Alright, so this guitar is all about experimenting to find out what works the best with the stuff that I have. So, buffing with, I actually used my drill with this little foam pad on it. It was kind of eating away at the foam. I wasn't even going that fast, but anyway. That wasn't working the best. It got it to look better than it did before I buffed it, but it's still not like as shiny as I'd like it to be. So I've put on this super hard shell finish paste wax from Turtle Wax, and I'm going to let it dry for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to buff it off with a microfiber cloth and see if that gives me the results that I want. And I feel like it probably will, so we'll see. Alright, I just rubbed that wax off, and that is more like it, and it is so smooth right now. It just feels amazing. So I would say the front is completely done now. I just got to do the sides and the back. So, I don't know if those are dry yet. Maybe I'll do the fingernail test. Yeah, still got to dry. And it's soft enough that I can kind of rub those fingernail marks out with my fingers. I just can't resist, so I'm just going to pull this masking out. Oh, look at that. There's still a little layer of tape stuck to there. Still a little bit in there. There we go. Oh yeah. Now for the control cavities. This is so satisfying to do. You can even see the black underneath it. I love that. I think that's super cool. I kind of purposely did that because I knew it would look awesome. Because with this, there was no conductive shielding on the inside. So I didn't have to mask it off. But I think it looks cooler like that. Because then when I go to change parts, it's like, oh look, it was a black guitar. So I'm going to pull the rest of that out and I'll be right back. Alright, look at that. It looks friggin' awesome. Look at that glossiness. I know that's way more glossy down there, but this will do for me. I'm happy with it. And if I really get sick of it, I can just polish it up if I want to. But for now, this is fine. So I'll be right back to test fit everything. Oh my gosh. So I'm not going to screw everything in until I get the bridge put in, because I don't want to end up having the pick guard over too far and then making the bridge not fit. Because these pick guards, you do need to drill new holes for them in some places. So before I do that, I'm going to install the bridge. And do I want to do that now? That's the question, because I still need to do the back. And that's where the bridge hooks up to everything. And I don't want to get that all installed and then make it all dirty. But I could always mask it off. I think I'm going to do that. If you guys can't tell, I'm super excited to get this going. Okay, so with this pick guard, so I got the bridge put on and everything, and the back's on, and so these strings are the strings that were on it before, and they were new strings. I put them on when I got the guitar, so they're pretty new. I didn't want to waste them. So they're just hanging out there. This screw, this screw, this screw, and this screw fit. The rest of them I'm going to have to drill holes for. And that's pretty common with these aftermarket pick guards if you're putting them on a squier. I'm pretty sure they'll fit like a Mexican or an American strat, but squiers you kind of have to drill new holes for. So that's what I'm going to do right now. My second stimulus check came in. This is what I treated myself with. And then I invested the rest of it in the stock market. What's up, guys? This is Gabe with Gabe's Guitars and Gear, and I just wanted to show off this guitar a little bit, give you a quick little rundown. I know I've posted a couple pictures of it on my page, but I wanted to make a video, so here we go. So this is a Squier Affinity Strat that I got at a pawn shop for about 90 bucks, and this thing plays amazing. So what I've done to it is, first of all, the paint job. This was initially a black guitar, and I painted it white, and I've always wanted a white Strat. Came across this for 90 bucks. I thought, why not? So, what I used is Rust-Oleum Heirloom White, and I used some sort of clear coat lacquer on top of it. A gloss lacquer. I think that was also from Rust-Oleum. It's been a while since I did this, so I can't remember exactly what I used, but something like that, and it's been amazing. It looks wonderful. I wet sanded it, polished it, buffed it, made it all shiny. Kind of see the shine. But yeah, as far as the finishing, that's what I did there. And then with the electronics, so these two pickups are not stock, but they came with the guitar when I bought it. They were already installed. This pickup, however, is a Music Lily single coil sized humbucker that I put in there, and it sounds fantastic. It's a very hot pickup, very trebly, but it sounds great. I'd say it sounds just as good as my Seymour Duncan JBs. It is a different sounding pickup than those for sure, but sounds good just the same. Music Lily pickguard. All those knobs are stock. And then I installed a switch here that basically coil splits that humbucker because I wanted a classic Strat with the ability to do a humbucker bridge, because that's mainly the music I play is like punk and metal. So I play a lot of humbucker bridge position, but I also love Red Hot Chili Peppers. So this is kind of the best of both worlds there. I can flip this down into single coil mode or flip it up into humbucker mode. And that's that pickup. So I believe this is not stock. I think I bought this secondhand. It's just a Squier Strat tremolo bar. It's got to be a certain size. I believe this is the smaller one. I think Bullet Strats have a bigger diameter whammy bar. Anyway, yeah, that's what I did with this guitar, and I love it. It plays amazing. I've also set it up. Made the action nice and low. Plays really well. Plays just like I would want a Strat to play. So, yeah. If anyone's interested in any of my services similar to what I've done with this guitar, any paint jobs, any electronic jobs, feel free to message me. Thank you.